Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my May reading plans for you. Very excited about what I have coming up in the month of May. May does have some amazing reading events. There's the Asian Readathon, which is hosted by With Cindy. There is the Misery May, which is hosted by Scott over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, and Gemma over at Gemma Books. There's Mental Health May, which is hosted by Kim over at Middle of the Book March, and Marilyn Maya Mendoza. All incredible events. And normally what I would end up doing is I would overload my TBR with to support all of these different wonderful events going on. And I just have been feeling like I'm kind of possibly on the verge of a mini slump, and I didn't want to go into that space. I really wanted to set up my May to be calm and have kind of a lot of room to play. Maybe add something for Misery May, maybe add something for Mental Health May. I'm not sure yet. I still will be reading books off of the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list, but I'm not going to say what they are right now. I'm going to look at my shelves and kind of select what appeals to me in the moment. Yeah, very exciting. But I do have a few books, and I have a mini book haul that I'll share with you as well. But the first book that is officially on my TBR, and I definitely will be reading it because it is the 1001 Book Club pick for the month of May. And it is this one, The Waves by Virginia Woolf. Oh my goodness. I have read now a few Virginia Woolf books, and I read Orlando. I read, oh my goodness, I can't remember. I've read a few of her books, and I don't always get along with them. You know, I like parts of them, but not necessarily where I'm just so enamored of them. And I want to love this author. I've heard that this one's difficult. I don't know if it's stream of consciousness. I'm guessing it probably is or has components of that in it. Yeah, I'm worried, everyone, about this particular one. Thankfully, like other Virginia Woolf novels, it's not that big, so I'm hoping to be able to get through it fairly easily. I may end up having to get the audiobook for it. I don't know yet, but this is the 1001 Book Club pick. That's the only 1001 Book Club pick that I have on my TBR for the month. I know. Wild, very wild. I do have one book that qualifies for the Asian Readathon. It also qualifies for my oldest on my TBR project that I have. I will be doing this as a buddy read with my friend Angela, and I will finally get to I Am Malala. I have had this book now for 3+ years. That's why it's on my oldest TBR. And I have wanted to read this for so long. I am prioritizing this one in May. I have an official buddy read, which will absolutely help me make it through this particular book. I can't wait to read this one. I can't believe I've waited this long to pick this particular book up, but that one is official. So we're only at 2 books. The next book is the biggest book that I have. It will go beyond May. I know it will go beyond May. I'm doing this as a buddy read with my friend Sonia. This qualifies for the oldest on my TBR and one of my subscriber favorites. So it does double duty, which gives me more space again for the month. I can't wait for that as well. But it will be It by Stephen King. Yeah, a monster of a book. We're going to start this kind of towards the middle of the month. And I'm sure, like I said, I know it will go into June. I'm very excited about getting this one off of my plate. I have seen both adaptations, the one that was in the 80s, which had, I think, John Ritter in it, and then the one that was done fairly recently with a very, very creepy clown. And I like parts of both of them. So I'm really interested in seeing what this book actually has in it. Much like with The Stand, I had read The Stand and then watched multiple adaptations of that. And each of them had something slightly different than what was actually in the book. So I'm anticipating something similar with this one, but that is my monster book. That's three books on my TBR, and the last one that I have on my official TBR is going to end up being this one, Sabriel by Garth Nix, and this is a buddy read with with Gemma from Gemma Books, Dia from Novel Idea, and Jack over at Spread Book Joy. We've been reading fantasy books together. I'm trying to get more into fantasy. I want to be more of a fantasy reader at times, and it hasn't necessarily always gone well. Some books have really resonated, like Sword of Kaigen, and some books DNF. So yeah, I don't know with this one. I don't know anything about it. I was able to get it, thankfully, from the library. You can see that very shiny cover on it, and I am looking forward to reading this one. I don't know when we're starting this one, but that's it. Those 4 books. That's what I have on my TBR. Like I said, half or less of what I would normally put on a TBR. Granted, this one is big. I will give you that. This one is a chunky monkey, right? So I have this Sabriel, I have it. I'm going to drop these. I Am Malala, and I have The Waves. Smallest TBR ever. I know. I don't know if I know what to do with myself with this small of a TBR, but we're going to go with it. I do have a couple other books checked out from the library, but lately I've been checking out books from the library and then just taking them back to the library unread, which is a horrible habit, but I just haven't had time to get to those. I have 2 subscriber favorite ones. I have Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein, which is one of the subscriber favorites, and I also have Marmee by Sarah Miller. And my friend Angela had read this recently and said it was a good read. So I'm really interested in picking this one up. It says A Novel of Little Women. I haven't gotten very far in it though. So that's the other one I have checked out from the library that maybe I'll read. Maybe I'll just have them sit on my shelf and then take them back. I don't know. But I'm kind of excited for a very loosey-goosey kind of May. Let's see what I get up to. All right, so that's the end of my TBR. It feels weird to only have such a short TBR video, but we're going with it. I do have a small book haul for you, though. I went out on Independent Bookstore Day, which was Saturday, April 26th in the United States, with the lovely Gina Stanier. She and I tooled around Third Place Books for a good couple of hours, and it was an absolute blast. I just enjoyed being in a bookstore, wandering around with someone who knows, we like to take our time. There's no rushing us when we're in Third Place Books, and it was absolutely phenomenal. They had a wheel. I spun it. I won a single piece of candy. I didn't win anything more, but I did get a few books, and I will go through which ones they are. So the first one I got is this one, The Swimmers by Julie Otsuka. So the reason why I picked up this one is because of the topic. This has to do with a woman who has dementia and is slowly losing all of her memories. And being in the pool is some of the ways that she remembers more things. We lost my mother-in-law to dementia and Alzheimer's several years ago, 7+ years ago, almost 8 years ago now. My father has been diagnosed with dementia, and so it's a topic that hits really close to home. It may be a good fit for Misery May because it might make me very sad. I'm not sure about that, but this is a book I'd seen for a while, and I do love the water. I love the cover of this. I think it will be a good read once I get to it, but that's the first one. The second book that I bought is the only new release that I bought because I don't want to buy hardback, especially if I'm just going to have it sit on my shelf for a long time. And hardbacks are very, very pricey. The great thing about Third Place Books, if you've never been there, they have a mix of new and used. And so you can flip through like all of the copies of a book that they have, and you might find one for $3. You might find one like this particular one. This one was $7. So, significantly discounted off of the price. The other thing is that they have really books that are in really good shape. They don't tend to buy books that have a lot of writing in them. So it's a little bit nicer than, or the quality of the books is just a little bit nicer than, say, some of the used bookstores. But yeah. My single new release purchase was this one, Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I did read her debut novel and did really like it. It's super creepy. This falls more in the horror genre, horror, science fiction genre. I don't read a ton of horror. I don't like horror a lot. I mean, now I have It as well, which is definitely a horror novel. But I really liked her writing in the first one and was excited to pick up this particular one and wanted to support this author as well. So yeah, Ghost Station. I'm hoping it's creepy. I'm hoping it's really good, but I have that one. The next one that I got, I almost didn't pick it up. I got it again as a used book, and I think it was like $6 or something. It falls in line with a lot of books that I typically like to read, which are outdoorsy. I have my inspirational challenge where I'm reading kind of outdoorsy books every month this year. And this one is I believe a local Pacific Northwest author. And the book is this one. It's called Homewaters, A Human and Natural History of the Puget Sound. So I live in the Seattle area, and the Puget Sound is maybe not even 20 minutes from where I live. And it is absolutely a gorgeous area. I've never seen an area that is so beautiful with the water, with the mountains. And I'm really interested in reading this particular history. But look at this beautiful cover. And this was written by David B. Williams. But look at this beautiful cover. And look, there's a kayaker on the front of it. If you're not familiar, I have kayaks. We go out quite often in the kayaks in the summer. And so that just also called to me. It makes me really want to get out on the water. And the last book, oh my goodness, the last book Gina and I were walking through the romancy section. I tend to not buy romance books. Not because I don't like them, but I tend to read them so bloody fast. And I can't see spending money on a romance book that I'll read in a few hours. So I tend to shy away from buying them. I might get them from the library. I might get them on my e-reader, something to help reduce the cost. And we were walking through and I made a comment of, I kind of miss some of like the old school romance writers that I would read when I was a teenager, wholly inappropriate content for when I was a teenager, but I would read them. And we were walking through and I mentioned one. I was like, oh yeah, like a Johanna Lindsey writer. And lo and behold, look what I found. I found a book called The Pursuit by Johanna Lindsey, originally published in 1977. I'm sure there's all kinds of bad content in this one. I am saving this one, I think, for Garb August, because this book, it may be a great read to take camping with us this year. I'm so incredibly excited about this. And then the great thing about these books, normally they have like a shirtless man on the cover, but this one has like this in here. I mean, come on. And it doesn't even matter what it's about. It's just a trashy romance novel from the 70s. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to read this one. So incredibly fortunate that I found it. I know I don't read and review a lot of romance on my channel, but it is kind of my first love. I can pick up any kind of a romance. I miss like the old school Harlequin romance novels that you could get for a few dollars. Too funny. But yeah, I did find this one and decided to pick it up. So let's do a quick little stack of these. We have I keep reading the name of this. Homewater, Ghost Station, The Swimmers, and the lovely Johanna Lindsey book, The Pursuit. I mean, I just can't, right? Absolutely incredible book haul. Wonderful day with Gina. I loved spending time with her. I got to actually see her again today, which is unheard of. We had a girls' day at one of my good friends' houses and we played games and we were doing camping planning, and it was just a magnificent, magnificent way to spend my Saturday and Sunday. A little bit of normalcy in my very chaotic world. Very incredibly happy that I got to do all of that. I could have made a video that was what's making me happy right now, because man, it's been a wonderful, wonderful weekend. So have you read any of these books? What do you have on your May TBR? I'd love to hear that. What events are you supporting in May? I would love to hear that. And do you like to read romance? And are you a fan of old school 70s romance? I would love to hear that. Please definitely leave me a comment down below. Love to hear from you. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.